Arctic Fox Trucking, which I do. I have a business license for myself to lease the truck to them. So I'm Arctic Fox Trucking.
That was a voice regular listeners may well recognize from years gone by. That of Lisa Kelly, Alaska-based hauler years back for the Dalton Highway Haul Road specialist Carlile Transportation, which association put her on the radar of the Ice Road Truckers franchise when it filmed early seasons in Alaska. But as she intimated up top, she's in a different operation today, but still trucking. Now as an owner-operator leased to another company she's agreed not to make public, as a brand new season of Ice Road Truckers is out after a hiatus of about 8 years. I'm Todd Dills, and today on Overdrive Radio we'll hear from Lisa Kelly what she's been up to all these years trucking since the last season of the show, with some years away from the business too, rescuing and caring for and breeding horses and more. The new Ice Road series is 2 episodes in at this point, tracking the stories of 2 companies. Lisa's hauling for Muskie Creek in Manitoba, along with 2 other truckers and Washington State resident and show veteran Todd Dewey, and a newcomer, Scott Scooter Ewell. As always for the long-running reality TV franchise, there's plenty of drama in those first couple of episodes, offering a window into a brand of trucking that's certainly more man versus nature than most. For Kelly, it presented an opportunity to put money and time into her truck back home in Alaska, as set up early in the show. So she put her Arctic Fox trucking on hold and went out to Winnipeg to make some more of what you'll hear her call that quote-unquote movie money with the show. Likewise, the good remuneration for a short season this past winter of high-risk, high-dollar work in the frozen north. If you remember Kelly's debut in the Alaska shot Ice Road Trucker seasons 15 some years ago, you might not be surprised about the origins of the Arctic Fox Trucking business name.
Back in the day when we were filming in Alaska, when season 3, there was this girl, producer and camera girl, and she was really awesome. Her name was Katie. She was awesome. And they try to come up with names for you out there, I don't know, like Jack Jesse's the Haul Road King, or they always come up with names. And she thought it'd be funny to call me the Arctic Fox, and I didn't get it. I was like, Arctic Fox? Why would that be a name? I didn't get it for a long time, and I finally got it, and I thought it was hilarious. So I named my business after that, and then I called her. I was like, hey, I named my business after your nickname for me, Arctic Fox.
After the break, we'll drop into how she came to truck ownership some years after the end of the Ice Road Truckers' original run. As owner-operator, Kelly takes us back to her time as a driver for Carlile Transportation, then all of that's happened since. Short version of quite a long story, as it were.
A lot happened and nothing happened,
Keep tuned. Ask any driver. Winter diesel problems don't happen all at once. That's why Howe's Products offers total performance and protection. Diesel Defender cleans and prepares your system so you start off the season strong. Before cold hits, dose up with Diesel Treat to keep fuel flowing all winter long by preventing gelling in even the harshest temps. If you do ever get stuck, Howe's Diesel Lifeline is your rescue, reliquefying gelled fuel fast. With Howe's, you don't just face winter, you beat it. Visit HOWES, HowesProducts.com for more. Here's Lisa Kelly, harking back to her time with Alaska-headquartered Carlile Transportation, known for its work on the Dalton Highway hauling out to Prudhoe Bay from Fairbanks and elsewhere.
Yeah, I was working at Carlile there, but I was getting what I call the movie money, and it was really hard to work for a company when you're gone shooting for several months a year. They're like, we don't know if we like this idea anymore. And so I ended up just taking a couple of years off, but then I ended up just kind of rescuing horses for a little while, just something to do. And it was really fun, and so I did that, took a couple of years up, and then I was like, I got to start working again here, so looking around for other truck driving jobs, and got my own truck, started a company, and I'm leased out to a company, and I absolutely love it. I'll never go back. I am in the owner-op whole cycle forever, which means big money but big bills. And so then you got to keep making the big money so you can't leave.
Have you been leased to mostly the same carrier through all that time, or have you run around with some different outfits, and out of Alaska primarily, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, I I didn't buy a truck right off the bat. I worked at other companies too, so I kind of just went around and, it's just like, the cool thing is boy, you have a lot of power when you don't have to work. You only want to work. And they're like, oh, you have to do this and this. I'm like, oh, no, I don't. So I might have got spoiled there, and they were like, you need to run like this and like that. I'm like, oh, no, that's okay. I'm good. So then when I got my own, kind of be my own boss, and the company I work for now, I love them so much because I don't know if it's how it works at every owner-op company because it's the only place I've owner-opped, but if your truck breaks, you can't go. That's your only truck. You can't get in another company truck. So you're like, I was going to go, but I broke my suspension or, something like that. And then they're really cool about it because it's like, oh, I work 350, so like six hours away from home where the horses are. And I work out of there and go north from there to Fairbanks to Prudhoe. So my truck's in Fairbanks, but my horses are like south 6 hours. So I'm like, I have to run home and get hay for the horses. So come home, get a load of hay, drop it off, pay the house sitter, and go back to work.
The first truck she bought to take the owner-operator journey came along well after her involvement in the first run of Ice Road Trucker Seasons on History, whose last season was back in 2017.
My first truck that I bought is a Peterbilt 389, 2019, and just gray, and it's just been, the roads are so rough in Alaska that it just beats them up really, really badly. And so it's just we get about 3-year-old trucks, maybe 5 at the max before they're pretty much retired from the haul roads. You sell them and you get another one. So I was hitting that 5-year max mark, and that's why I was like, uh-oh, I got to get a new truck or I got to fix this one. And it worked out perfect because it got broken. It was perfect because they're like, do you want to come, do ice roads and drive up here? And it's like, yeah, that works out perfect because I have no way to make money right now because my truck's broken.
Did you buy that 2019 389 new, or was it used when you bought it?
It was used. It had a 5-year warranty, so he had driven it 3 years, I think, and I had the 2 years left, and I've had the truck 5 years now, so getting old. She's broken right now, actually, in the shop again, because every trip is something.
The loads you see Ice Road veterans Lisa Kelly and Todd Dewey and show newcomer Scooter Yule running in episodes 1 and 2 are largely along Manitoba lanes, with Kelly on that mission to make enough money, as noted, to either repair or replace the aging Pete. I don't know how all that turns out in the end, so I fundamentally can't spoil it for you, but attentive listeners will note the fact that the 389 was back in the shop when we talked last week for at least one possible outcome.
Either I fixed it or I kept it and got another one, like, for the options. And so, like, you'll have to get a hold of me after the season. I'll let you know what happened from there. They are out of Winnipeg and Manitoba, north. And it's kind of where we've done all the seasons of Ice Roads in Saskatchewan. Actually, it was kind of different because it was like Todd and me and Scooter were in Manitoba. And then the other 2 people, Riley and
Sean. Yep.
The young Riley and the elder Sean Harris, owner of Harris & Sons Transportation, might make a parallel story in this season with hauling efforts to the west of the usual Manitoba haul routes in Saskatchewan. Also with Sean's other son, Zach, involved.
It's interesting that Zach's in there magically because it was just like Riley and Sean that I know of. I didn't know there was another kid. They're working in Saskatchewan, so the only time I met them is when they came to Winnipeg to like get their trucks outfitted with cameras and do like all the intro shots and stuff. And then they were working in Saskatchewan, and I know there was talk of me going over there, but I think we just ran out of time, and it's a long ways to drive highway just to get to Saskatchewan, and we needed all that time for filming on Ice Road, so I wasn't able to go this year. So maybe again, maybe next time.
Filming for this took place. It takes place in winter, right?
I think it was a little late in the season this year. Not too bad. I think it was like February, March. I can't really remember. It's already been a long year. Because it seems to me every time we've done Ice Roads before, it's come out in like June or July. And it's come out a lot later this time, so I've already forgotten so much. Crazy how much a human forgets until you're reminded. And you're like, wow, that was this year? I don't remember saying that at all.
Right. Well, your brain probably wants you to forget the experience of actually being stuck out on a road when it's like about 30, 40 below and you have no heat.
as was recounted in the second episode just last week.
I really enjoy shooting. That's why I keep coming back. Like, there's tough about it, but for the general part, I keep coming back. And I like the change. You know, you get in a truck and you drive the same road to the same load every single day. And somebody's like, want to come to Canada and have an adventure? I'm like, yeah, it'd be so nice to do something different from the normal. I enjoy it very much. It's just, our memories are just weird.
Were you in the very first season of this the Ice Road Truckers franchise?
No, they started in Canada at the diamond mines in Yellowknife, and I'm Alaskan. So they did season 1, so that's when they came to Alaska once with Carlile. And then we did it, the show up on the Dalton for season 3, 4, and 5, I think. And then I think they started splitting the shows between Canada and Alaska. And then season 7, I think we went exclusively to Canada again.
Those early shows put owner-operator Kelly in a media spotlight that most folks never experience, of course. A headline in Esquire magazine called her the, quote, sexiest trucker alive back then, but it was a no-nonsense attitude about the work that underlied her role as something of a de facto ambassador to the world for North American trucking. With the filming early this year capturing plenty in the way of the what can go wrong, will go wrong dynamics of man versus nature that is hauling in these remote northern areas, I wondered if there was anything in particular that happened during this tour on the roads that surprised her.
I mean, it's always something. It's always something you got to fix on the road for sure. But it was kind of cool because I had recorded that truck because he's like, here's the 3 trucks and you're going to have this one. And I'm like, why do I get that truck? I want the cool truck. Why does the new guy get the cool truck? You know, the Kenworth, like my favorite truck, even though I own Peterbilt's now. But like anything that went wrong with it, that was my fault because I asked for it. But it wasn't, you know, it's not like it wasn't taken care of. It's an older truck on a really beat up road, and that's exactly what I'm experiencing with my truck here at home. You know, it's old trucks on beat up roads, and I was actually super impressed with the truck. It kept going, you know, like I swear if you fix all the leaks and all the problems, it'll no longer run. Like that's how the ice road trucks run. They have to have something wrong with them so that nothing else goes wrong. So all the oil leaks and all the stuff, and it pretty much sucked not having heat, but you can see we'll fix it. Of course, I ain't going to go the rest of the season in my snow clothes. So something about this season that I'm excited/nervous about is that they kind of went a different direction this year. So like it's all new showrunners. Like I think it's still done by original and not by history, but it's like all new owners, all this stuff. Like I'm literally the longest running person on that show, including like owners and narrators and camera people. So they kind of went a new direction. And I'm excited because it's a guy that does Deadliest Catch, and Deadliest Catch like wins all these awards and stuff like that. And I always felt like we were kind of the redheaded stepchild before. And now I feel like someone's going to put a little love and care into it. And so I'm excited to see how it differs, the parts that it kept. I'm hoping that it corrects a lot of the things that maybe people didn't like in the past seasons. So yeah, it's exciting to kind of go a new direction and give it a new life for the reboot. And it was different only having 3 of us. I mean, usually there's 6 characters that they base on, but 2 weren't even around. And so it was just like me and Todd and Scooter in Manitoba. And it was a really tight knit because of that. And it's like, wow, are we carrying this show? But it was fun because enough happens to us to keep it running. And that's the other surprising thing. I can drive back and forth here, but when the cameras come on, stuff happens, man, and it's not made up either. Like it gets wild. Your dangerous job, you get a lot of stuff going on out there.
What's the reaction been that you've heard from friends and associates and what have you, and you know, kind of that your sort of old fan base out there that was a pretty huge back in, you know, the early parts of your participation in this, for sure. Has the show kind of rekindled some of those old, I don't know, the old interest in ice road truckers amongst longtime fans and new fans and everything else?
This could be a very long story. It's been a wild ride. I feel like in the last year or 2, I don't know if it's like the scams are getting out of control or what's going on, but I've had more fans and people getting a hold of me in the last year before the even show came out. So it's been off air like 9 years and it's been pretty left alone. for a while, and all of a sudden it's just been getting absolutely wild around here about what's going on fan-wise. And then I'm like, well, you guys are going to be happy to know the show's coming out. And I'm like, oh, great. Is this already wild? It's about to get wilder. So luckily it's the same few crazies harassing me and not any new ones yet. But and I mean, I finally just saw it for the first time I hadn't really even seen it yet. And yeah, it was I think as far as feedback goes, it's always mixed. You always got the people that are big tough truckers and they can do better and they get on Ice Road Trucker pages so that they can say how fake it is and how much they hate the show. And I'm like, I don't understand the mentality of liking something so that you can complain about it. But then you've got the other ones that are like on my fan page and stuff that are like, oh, I'm so glad it's back and good to see you and all that and stuff. So definitely a bunch of different reactions. And my main reaction was seeing it is like how much work we put into it for the show just be like, here's 5 seconds of it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that took me like 3 days. And I guess that's just TV, you know, because you can't show every detail. You got to get on with it. But a lot happened. And it's like, well, and that's fixed. It's like, oh my gosh, the pain I went through to get that to work.
Yeah, I think about that too when I'm watching it. I'm just kind of like, you get all those like overhead shots of the trucks facing each other. Like I think it was when two of the trucks met. I think it was you and Scooter met when your heat's out and you're doing this thing, but you've got this big overhead shot, and I'm like, that took a lot of time, but it only lasts on the screen for about 3 or 4 seconds, right?
So technology, since the old days too, we sat phones and we never had communication with anybody unless we stopped and set up the antennas and stuff to call people. Now we all have Starlinks and everybody can talk to everybody. So the technology has definitely changed the way that the show was made. But then, you know when someone's coming, so then the camera guys can have the drones up and ready for the meet. So you don't have to stop and coordinate, make phone calls. It's in motion being coordinated.
And how has that changed too? Is just the experience of trucking out there?
It's good and bad. Like half the reason that we like driving where we do is because we don't have communication and you have to figure it out because you're in the middle of nowhere. And it's a really good like reset. You have to get away from social media. You have to concentrate on what you're doing, and you get Starlink and stuff like this, and it's still fun, but then you've got a lot more communication and you can get help, but it doesn't take away how far out in the bushes you still are. Even if you can get help, it's still days away. Back in the day when we didn't have any communication, all the truckers helped each other because we know we didn't have communication or help coming. And now a lot of us drive by someone broke down because we know they got someone coming. Even if there's communication and people around, it doesn't mean I didn't drive the truck cold because it still had to get there and still didn't know what was wrong with it. And there's not a lot of like truck shops out in the bush and in the communities, So like I had to meet one of the other drivers that was an excellent mechanic like days later, right, and then figure it out. And it wasn't fixed. We figured out a fix that would work till I could get back and get it fixed for good.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. In other words, in some ways for the ice road haulers, though with improved communications, you can hear there some of the dynamics from continental U.S. roads coming into play, too. In any case, you can see how some of that plays out in episodes 1 and 2 of the current Ice Road Truckers season. I'll post links to where you can stream them on History's website and show notes for this podcast and in the post that houses it at overdriveonline.com/overdrive-radio. In the first episode, as they're reintroducing Lisa Kelly, there's mention of the horses you heard her mention there, too. Many distinctive gypsy vanners among them. I asked her how many in total she was responsible for there today.
I'm down to 9. I had 12, but the only reason I had so many is, well, for one, I was rescuing, but then I kind of got rid of everybody and down to my basic crew. But then I was dating a guy that thought it would be an awesome idea to breed horses. And so I started buying steins and brood mares and all that. And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. Then he's like, oh, yeah, this is your thing. I was like, what? You're going to leave me high and dry? And that relationship didn't work out. But I've always wanted to breed gypsy vanner horses in Alaska and be like one of the first breeders up here. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. So I got a stallion and 2 brood mares. And then I bought 2 more. Well, one was one's baby that my stallion wasn't the dad. And then I bought one more from Canada. And so I got 4 now. And the 2 are only 2, so they're not old enough yet. But I had the other 2 that I would just kind of breed one year, give her a year off, breed the next, And so I was giving it a try, and it was a lot of money invested and a lot of time invested to finally get like my first baby that I was going to sell, because they're pregnant 11 months a year. It's ridiculous. And then they got to get weaned off mom for another 6 months, and it takes a lot of investment to get a single baby. I was working too much, and my stallion was breaking out of the fence, and like I'm calling all the neighbors because I'm 6 hours away. Like, can you help me? I got the security cameras going in here just so I can keep an eye on them, and I got people watching them and taking care of them. I'm like, you know what? Everybody is living my dream but me, so I'm going to take a break. So I actually gelded my stallion so I can actually ride him, and gelded him. 2 mares are pregnant right before I gelded him, so I should have 2 babies due in May. And then from there, I don't know. I just wait till I get home more, have more property, or I can actually like live my own dream instead of everyone else doing it.
The Gypsy Vanner breed's origins is in Europe and the UK. I hadn't been previously familiar with them and originally heard Banner with a B when she said the breed's name, yet it's Vanner with a V.
So that's why the horse is named that, because they were bred to pull the caravans. They're a real stocky horse that's muscular and can pull big weight.
Kind of like a big truck.
Well, yeah, I'm like a mini truck driver too. I got 1 horsepower.
Catch episode 3 starting this Wednesday, October 15th on the History Channel. As noted, I'll post links to where you can stream the show in the notes for this episode wherever you're listening. Overdrive Radio is on Spotify and SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, Overdrive's Facebook page, and any listening platform. Really. Leave us a review there if you're enjoying these, and big thanks in advance for it. Big thanks to owner-operator Lisa Kelly for catching us up on the last decade and the new series today, for certain, and big thanks to you for listening. Overdrive Radio is a production of Overdrive, the voice of the American trucker. It's edited and produced by me, Todd Dills, with the acoustic guitar and other support of trucker-songwriter Long Haul Paul Marhofer. The theme is Legend of the Snake Man by Marhofer, featuring the guitar work of Travis, the Snake Man himself, Whammock, Terry Two-Socks Richardson on bass, keys by Tisha Mingo, Jim Whitehead, and on drums, Andrew Marshall. The podcast is backed up further by Overdrive's own social media coordinator, Jasmine Campbell, senior editor Matt Cole, executive editor Alex Lockie, and video editors Lawson Rudisell and Andrew Glenn. See you next time.